Hey there everybody, this is Sven and I'm just here. Really, to be honest, I'm kind of bored and there's a lot of stuff that's on my mind that I think I should say, so the game in the background is, of course, Street Fighter 4, as you can probably tell. It's really old footage from like half a year ago and last summer when I was playing it actively. I thought I'd just put something in the background while I was talking, so I'm playing as Ibuki, and I got some opponents that I beat up handily. Of course, I'm going to put up footage where I win. So yeah, I played this for a while, a long time ago, and I should really get back into it because it's a really competitive game and it's a lot of fun. So mostly this episode of Sven Talks is basically me talking about video games and essentially how I'm trying to get back into the video game habit, but it's not really working. So I'll just start and I'll see where I end up going. So first off, after I completed my Lufia Let's Play, I was thinking about doing more of that kind of stuff in the future, and I was never really sure if I could do it, but nice cheap win with the KO there, by the way, with the perfect. And I was thinking about doing more games after Lufia 2, but I can't really decide which. I mean, there's one or two platform games that I have in mind that I might want to do, and then there's one or two action games that could really work, but that I should probably record with a friend, because it's really kind of more of a two-player game rather than a single-player game. There is one RPG that I would love to do. Unfortunately, I'm not really in the mood to play that particular RPG right now, so I think doing a Let's Play of that while I'm not really in the mood would only detract from the experience, both for me and anyone watching. And so after the summer, in November, of course, there were two games that came out. The first of which was The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, and the second one was, of course, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Now, I'd like to briefly discuss just the first two of them. Well, the first two, I mean, I'd like to discuss the two of them. I'll start off with Skyrim, because that's one of the games that was hyped up, like, to epic proportions, and, you know, a lot of people are wondering, did it live up to the hype? To be honest, I myself didn't really keep track of much of Skyrim, only a little bit. I have to say, though, that I liked Oblivion in general. I liked the idea, but I didn't really like the atmosphere in the world. And I think Bethesda did a really good job with Skyrim in making it lively and interesting to play in. And the combat is fluid, it's dynamic, it's not overly complicated, it's just kind of a hack and slash and shoot fireballs if you have them. But the enemies do different things, there's a lot of different cities to explore, and the world is pretty rich. And of course, it's a gorgeous looking game, as long as you don't look too close. And I played Skyrim for about, I don't know, maybe 60 hours so far. It's not as addictive as I thought it was going to be. I thought I would be playing that for months straight without it getting boring. I think it's more to do with me than the game itself, though, because the game is actually pretty awesome. But the combat is kind of samey, and after a while you've kind of seen it with the dungeons, because one dungeon looks... Well, it doesn't look much like the next dungeon, but you enter this kind of formula where you just enter a random town and you grab a quest from an NPC. That NPC tells you to go into a dungeon, and you retrieve some special item which you then bring back to the NPC, and you get a nice reward, and rinse and repeat. Of course, fighting the dragons is awesome, but even that gets kind of old. I wouldn't say that it's boring, it's just not as addictive as I thought it was going to be. Next up on the list, is Zelda, and I have to say that I only beat the first 3 or 4 temples, I don't even remember, it's been several weeks since I last played it, and that should tell you enough about the game. I mean, it's not a bad game at all. Nintendo really did a good job at designing the world, and I absolutely love the way that it looks. I mean, the graphics are amazing. Especially, I mean, the art style is just so impeccable. This is one of those games that will never really be ugly. Simply because of the way that it was designed. I mean, the Wind Waker also will never really get ugly. I mean, sure, you can probably tell that the polygons aren't all up to snuff, but, you know, both it and Skyward Sword are gorgeous-looking games. I just got destroyed there in Street Fighter right away. That guy was pretty good. I fought against him like 10 times in a row. I managed to beat him 3 times, and I put 2 of those victories in there. I'll admit, he's better than I am. But anyway, back to Zelda. I feel that Nintendo kind of disappointed with this game. I mean, the hype for Skyward Sword was greater, but even then, I didn't really pay much attention to it because I knew that if I hyped myself up too much, I'd be setting myself up for a disappointment. So, but there's something about the game that's, I don't know, it's the fact that it's not really a persistent overworld like the previous Zeldas had. I mean, as many of you know, Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game, and Majora's Mask really had a persistent overworld. Every single NPC had a schedule, the world was alive, and it was breathing, and there was always something to do. The story was really, really good, especially once you get down to the side quests. And so far with Skyward Sword, I'm not feeling the enthusiasm. I mean, I'm loving the dungeon designs, and I'm certainly appreciating that it's more difficult than the other 3D Zeldas, except maybe Majora's Mask. It's probably about the same difficulty, but that's all fine and dandy, and the dungeons are really cool places, and the bosses are also really good, but there's something missing, and I can't really put my finger on it. I mean, I discussed this with a few people, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's the best Zelda game ever, like many people were hoping it was going to be. I'll definitely give it a chance, and I will beat it, but I'll have to do so in my own time. I can't really force myself to play that right now. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Zelda. And that's pretty much it as far as current games go. I've been playing a lot of LA Noire, but that's kind of a single-player game that I really need to take the time to play. That's kind of like the Phoenix Wright games that I know and love. I mean, the Phoenix Wright games are awesome, and LA Noire is basically a beefier version. It's like with 3D graphics and traveling and more action and stuff. Although the story is not quite as good, the solving cases is really fun. But that's pretty much it for current games that I've been playing. Really, I'm now looking forward to 2 upcoming games, and the people who know me probably know that I'm keeping up with the news on a daily basis. And I'm talking, of course, about Diablo 3 and Guild Wars 2. Now, Diablo 3 will probably come out a few months earlier than Guild Wars. I'm hoping before the summer. It's been in the beta for a while. I've actually played it at a friend's place, and so far the general combat system is really interesting, and the game is shaping up to be really good. I won't know for sure until I actually play it for myself, but I know that when the full game comes out, I'll be playing it for weeks on end, probably. So, I'm hoping that it comes out soon so that I can actually play the hell out of it, because I've already decided which my first character is gonna be. It's probably gonna be the wizard, which I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be the monk or the barbarian, but then I tried out the wizard in the beta, and it was actually a lot of fun to play. So that's probably gonna be my first class. And then, of course, the next big game that I'm waiting for, even more so than Diablo, is Guild Wars 2. I mean, I played the original Guild Wars for quite a while, and I really love the story aspect of it, but it's not really a true MMO. Guild Wars is more like Diablo in that the towns is where you gather with people, and then the outside world is instanced. And even though you can create a full party of NPCs, heroes, that basically fight for you, which is really fun because it basically means that you have to create a party of 8 characters, making it a full RPG. That bit's really fun. Guild Wars 2 is just exactly the game that I'm looking for. It's an MMO, it's the kind of game that I can get lost in, and it's got such a rich story, and the combat, from what I've seen from the videos, is amazing. I mean, Total Biscuit did a series of videos. There's been all these trailers, and I've been keeping up with the blog of the developers, ArenaNet, for weeks, months, actually no, years now. And I'm reading every little tidbit that they put out. And, you know, I already know which class I'm going to play first. I already know what race I'm going to play first. I even know what the name of my characters are going to be. And they're actually ramping up the closed beta test in the next few months with beta for the press in February, and then some events, closed beta that you can get invited to in March and April, I believe, with the release sometime later this year. I hope not too long after the summer. So, yeah, that's basically just a few of the things that I wanted to talk about. I don't want to ramble too much, and I just got destroyed there in Street Fighter, like I deserve, because I'm a noob. But I like to think that I'm not too terrible. So yeah, basically that was it, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about video games. I got it off my chest now, and I'll go back to playing. And maybe I have a new Let's Pray. Come on, I'm not praying. Maybe I have a new Let's Play project in mind for sometime this year. It's probably going to be a relatively short game, platform game. I haven't decided which yet. I'm thinking of two in particular, and for both, I need to practice a lot because well, to be frank, I suck. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching / listening, and I'll see you sometime soon.